hold on. All right, I think it's recording. I'm going to kind of push through a lot of it. A lot of it's kind of repeat of stuff that I've talked about before, but some of it I'm going to just touch on again, I guess. So a few people said they wanted more on bookings and then, of course, recruiting. So I'll start with bookings. We want to have a full schedule all the time, whether that's 2 parties a week or 3 parties, whatever you consider your full schedule. I know some people are saying they're having problems getting bookings. So what I'm going to say is if you haven't done the pumpkin game, like the pumpkin patch game, or you haven't done any of those little challenges that helps you reach out to people, then definitely do that. I'm going to actually make that a requirement because that's really the only way you're going to get bookings is if you're putting yourself out there and talking to people. And then the other requirement I'm going to say, which I don't think this is a problem for Chandra, when you are talking to people about getting bookings, send screenshots. Even if you feel like you can handle it, send me a screenshot. Let's get those screenshots going. Because that way you can get comfortable and then build your confidence on what you can say or what you need to say to work around the objections, because that's the only way we're going to get practice makes perfect is by practicing and learning and watching how people are able to work around some of the objections. So I want to make a goal for us as everybody who's part of this Director Bound. By the 31st of this month, I want your November completely booked. So whether that's, like I said, 2 shows a week, I see that grin, Jen, 3 shows a week, whatever you are comfortable with hosting per week, have that booked by the 31st. And I want to see a picture of your calendar. I want names of parties. I want a list. We're getting serious. We're down to the wire now. Yeah, like I said, so use the games that I've posted. There's also another one I think I'm going to add to our team page that Stacy Turner and her team are doing. They took the picture of next month's host special is like 60%. Oops, dropping stuff. Hold on. The 60% off. I don't know if you guys can see that. The select pieces. It's backwards, but so they have like a screenshot of those items, and then they basically say something like, if you could get 60% off of one of these, what would it be? And they're doing like a raffle. Every comment gets a raffle ticket, and there will be a prize at the end. And that's how they're getting like the full on participation in it. And then you can personally reach out just like all the other games that we do. And then the other thing that I want you guys to do is, I don't know if everybody knows what a 2-way contact is. So basically you've reached out to someone and they've responded back. So not someone who's reached out or you've reached out and they haven't responded. That's not a 2-way contact. That's just a contact that ignored you. But so make a list every single week. I want 15 2-way contacts. So write their name down, what they've responded with, and then you can write even next to it if they've booked a party or if they're like, if you've offered them the business, what they've said there. And then the other thing I recommend is do not close a party out until you've booked 2 parties from that party. Some shows there's going to be times where we don't, because I have a party right now that literally the host is non-existent and no people have been invited. Like tomorrow's the second day of the party and she's ghosted me. So that kind of party we're not going to get bookings off of. But the other thing is that your host coaching is super, super important. So with host coaching, you're showing your host how easy it is to have a party, how easy we make it on our hosts, how much fun that our hosts can have, how much fun our guests can have. And when our guests are having fun, they're our next potential recruit. So hosts are always our first potential recruit, and then our rock star guests, everybody who's participating, having fun, seeing that we're having fun. and kind of the banter back and forth between us and the hosts in our parties are going to get the guests pumped as well. So host coaching is extremely, extremely important, especially if you have a host who is literally not participating. You're probably not going to have a lot of guest participation just because the guests are like, well, if the host isn't really in this, we're probably not in it either.
Can I say something to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel with the way they're doing groups now that if the host isn't active, nobody's going to see anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to let our hosts know how important it is to participate in their party.
And thank you for mentioning that, because I do want to say something on that. I'm not sure I don't know if Facebook is still working out kinks or if they're just, this is how it's going to be or what's going on. But I think I personally am going to change the way my host coaching works, because before I wasn't really forcing my hosts to like reach out, privately message people to invite them to the party. But I honestly think that's the only way we're going to get people in our parties this now, because of the way Facebook has updated their stuff. Because I actually have a host right now who she's got 70 people added, but when today she went in to go add more people and she added people, but then the people that she already tried to add are still coming up like capable of being added. Did that make sense? So it's so strange, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's going to change, but with Facebook updates, we kind of have to adapt, just like in the spring when they decided that events were no longer allowed to have Post My Party in it. It sucked, and I tried manually posting for about a month, and I realized that it just wasn't going to work for me. I swore I would never do groups, and look at me now. It's 6-7 months later, and I'm doing groups, and I'm still rocking my business. So we will adapt, and we will make it work, and we just have to really pump our teams up. And I'm pumping you up, Chandra, because we'll get through it. We always do. We always overcome.
Right.
So it's just a little bump in the road that we're going to have to work on. And our upper level directors or leaders, they are constantly working on figuring out how to work around all of this stuff too. So as they're figuring stuff out, it kind of trickles down, and we'll be better off because of them as well, because they know what's going on.
So, Danny, one thing I've been doing, and I've been helping Chandra with it, and I've been telling all my hosts that it's, like when we go now, it'll say like there's only 10 people added. Mm-hmm. So if they go to the About section or wherever the members are, if they click on Invited, they can send reminders. And I usually recommend having hosts do that, so it's coming from the host. But there is a spot where you can send a reminder. It's more visible on the computer, but
yeah,
on
I don't see it on my phone.
But I can see a screenshot afterwards. I did some for Chandra earlier.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
That helps. Because then it sends a reminder to those people that they've been added to that group.
Right. On top of that, Jen, Monica still can't get into her About part or her Invited, and It doesn't ever tell her reminded.
Weird.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I told her I was just going to go in and send a reminder to all of her invited people that are just previewing.
Yeah. But you have that notification, right? You're able to send that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is something I've never looked at. So, because I'm never on a computer. So I just clicked on my Facebook and I went to my groups, and when I clicked on groups, I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 pending invites that I have been invited to groups that I never saw because it didn't show up in my notifications. So that makes me feel like people are not willing to see our invitations. So personally sending out messages or making it very aware on our personal Facebook page, or having our hosts post that, kind of like I did with my
legging party you're doing.
Yeah, because I posted that on mine because I have so many people on my Facebook that I'm like, oh God, I don't want to send out all those personal messages, but that's awful because I want my host to send out personal messages. Okay, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to go do that. So yeah, I think that we are probably going to have to change the way that we're doing things, and that's fine because everything changes all the time and we have to adapt to darn near everything in our life anyway. So I think it's just huh?
We'll figure it out.
Yep, we'll get it. We'll overcome. Okay, so I think we're just going to have to start saying that personally reaching out is going to be our best bet. And there's people that are in the in this company that have been doing that this whole time anyway, and they are very successful with it. So I might actually reach out to a few people who do that and see if they wouldn't mind going live in our team page about that. I'm going to make a note about that. Hold on. Okay. So Chandra, how are you doing? How are you feeling about recruiting hosts? Like, how do you feel about chatting with them and asking them about the business?
Right now, I guess my confidence is low.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm one that would be like, oh, okay, no, fine. But
Yeah.
I have actually made a promise to myself that I'm not going to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have one. She's trying to conjure up the money to get a kit. And then I'm going to keep bugging my sister-in-law. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So one thing that I've learned, so when I first started out, I was the exact same way. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just always felt like, okay, if I go one step further, I'm going to be bugging them and then I'm going to completely lose them. And then Kristen and Wesley, they actually retrained my brain to, so the way we overcome those no's or the, oh, I don't think so's, or say they give us a reason, like say you ask your host, hey, have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef? And they go, oh, no, I don't really have the time. What you do to overcome those objections is you start out by like giving them, oh, I totally understand. And then you give them a reason. Gosh, how do you say that? So you find common ground, and then you basically find a way to say, oh, I totally understand. The great thing I've found with Pampered Chef is that it kind of falls in place with everything else in that life throws at you, or just it falls into place around everything else. So you give an understanding, you create a solution, and then you follow it with another question. So, oh, I totally understand. The great thing I found about Pampered Chef is that it falls in place around everything else. What would an extra $200 to $500 a month do for you and your family? And then they have to kind of keep following up with that. And then you keep asking questions. And what I found with when you're asking everybody questions, you actually help them get to their answer and their reason why they need this company instead of us just telling them that they need the company. So as long as we're continuing to ask them questions, they're not only still talking to us, but we're also building a relationship with them, and then they become more comfortable with us. And then even if at the end of that conversation, they're like, yeah, no, I'm just not very sure. And then you can be like, okay, no, I totally understand. I sometimes need a little bit longer to think on things as well. Do you mind if I touch base with you again in a couple of days? And then it leaves the door kind of open to go back into it instead of being like, oh, okay, I totally understand. Thanks anyway. And then it kind of just shuts the door. But if you leave things out there, it kind of, sometimes it just plants a seed and they'll come back to it, or it plants the seed and then we can come back to it and be like, hey, have you thought any more about what the business could do for you. And they're like, you know, yeah, I think I'm ready to sign up. And then you just never know. I mean, I've had people that have done that where
Okay.
I was like, oh gosh, I haven't talked to this person in like 3 months. And then I reach out and they're like, yeah, you know, I've totally been thinking about it. I should probably just stop hesitating. Let's do it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, great. Do you want me to send you the link? And then I'm like, oh, that was a lot easier than I thought. But I mean, you'll get some that aren't as easy, but you will get those that you're like, oh shoot, man, I should have reached out a little bit sooner. But I recommend making lists too. Make a list. I wish when I first started, I would have kept making my lists and keeping my lists of people who I've talked to about the business or people who I think would do well with the business, because I would just kind of leave them in Facebook cyberspace in my little messages. And then I'd be like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a while. And I'd click on the message and it would pop up that I had already talked to them about it. And they're like, oh, well, maybe check back with me in a month. And I'm trying to message them 6 months later. And I'm like, I totally forgot. So that's one thing that I am regretting on when I first started, that I wasn't a little more organized. So I feel like when we're organized and we have lists and we have stuff in front of us, it's a lot easier to go back and remember who said what. Kristen will be like, yeah, you probably should have been doing that from the beginning and I just didn't listen. So I can't get mad if somebody else does it, but make lists. It's worth it. Let's see. So I'm wondering, Jen, what else? I don't know. What else?
I always tend to reach out to like my rock star hosts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do talk to all my hosts about it, but if they are just rock star, you know, doing all the host suggestions, totally into their party, those people, I just try to build up their confidence and tell them what a rock. So, and that helped with Chandra. Look, she's on this call with us tonight.
Yeah, and she is a rock star.
Rock star.
I guess a perfect example would be tonight. I have a host right now who is literally, so I booked her party like 3 weeks ago, and she literally had posted once a day on her Facebook leading up to her party. And I never even asked her to. I was like, okay, I need to recruit you because you're great. And she's constantly advertising it. And she would like post products that she either already had or stuff that she had wanted. And so today I finally reached out because she was great today. Today's the first day of the party. So she was great all day, interacting, posting. I was like, so have you thought about doing something like Pampered Chef? And she's like, well, I did It Works for 2 years and I didn't really have the support. I mean, a few friends bought some stuff occasionally, but nobody was ever interested and yada, yada. And I was able to basically be like, yeah, no, I totally understand that because I used to sell It Works and I did not have any success. But I honestly think a lot of it had to do with I didn't really believe in the products and I wasn't seeing the results. And she brought up the fact that she's like, well, I'm not really a great salesperson. And I'm like, yeah, but the great thing about ours is I don't feel like I have to sell anything. I feel like I get to host parties and have fun with people because the products and the warranties and the reputation of Pampered Chef sell itself. And what's funny is every time I would respond to one of her objections, I would say something. Oh, she said the price point might be a little hard to get around. And I was like, actually, you'd be surprised that 82% of our products are under $50. And she goes, good response. And she gave me the hand clap symbol. And I'm like, it was kind of hard to gauge whether she was being sarcastic, but she was giving me a compliment. I figured that one out. But so now I had to ignore her last messages because we started this, but she said she had already gone online and like watched all the new consultant videos or like the stuff on Pampered Chef's page. She's already looked up all of the stuff. So that right there just proves that if we do not talk to each host or each guest, we don't know if they are thinking about Pampered Chef until we ask. So by talking to every single person that we come in contact with, we're really not bugging people. We could be just giving them that extra hand to be like, come join us, because they've wanted to, but they've never had somebody ask them. And the next person might ask and we might miss out. So every single person, I mean, I even sometimes need to be better about it, because sometimes I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, oh, either I forget about it or I'm like, oh, it's not the top of my list. But it should be the top of our list, because the more people we bring into this company, the more products we can sell, the more people we can help, either by financially welcoming them to the business, or we can be helping them with kitchen tools by helping them ease the process of dinner time. Or I have a gal that just signed up last month. She's struggling to start because her daughter has some serious health issues, and it all starts in the kitchen because her daughter can't have, I think it's a certain intake of sodium. And so her daughter's had a lot of medical issues, and she signed up with the $29 kit, and she's going through some hospitalizations for her daughter and stuff. So she's waiting to start, but her daughter's excited because the products that we have can help them cook everything in their kitchen, because she can't eat out. She has to make sure that everything that's put into her daughter's meals are specific, like recipes and portions of sodium and all that stuff. So if I would have never reached out to her, she would never have this opportunity to help her daughter a little bit more, as well as helping finances. And so, yeah, it's just, we don't ever know who could benefit from this business or who could benefit from just the products. So
I'll say something with that. I have a consultant on my team that actually, she became part of a couple of parties that I did. And she already had a Pampered Chef consultant up in Washington.
mm-hmm.
And, you know, I reached out to her about the $29 kit last month, and she called me and we talked about the business, and she ended up signing up underneath me. And I had asked her, you know, I know you have another Pampered Chef consultant, and she goes, yeah, but she didn't talk to me about the business like you did. So it's really a matter of reaching out, even if they already have somebody that they go through. If they're not helping them, they're going to want somebody that is willing to help them. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, totally. And for some of the new consultants, and like Chandra, you mentioned that like your confidence isn't 100% there. I totally get that, because when I first started, I had all of my previous network marketing failures, I would say, that didn't help me have a very good confidence, because I'm like, well, I don't know if this is going to be another one of those businesses that failed or what I did. But I think with the support of our team is what helped build my confidence. And at the beginning, I won't lie, when I saw how successful everybody was that within the company and the people who I started surrounding myself with, I almost forced myself to, I guess, fake it till you make it. Because when we even fake the confidence, we still have that support system backing us up, to where, say you're like, oh, I'm not really confident in what my response could be. You have someone to reach out to with screenshots, guys, screenshots. We can help you build that confidence, because we can teach you to be that confident consultant, who then can build another confident consultant, and then it just trickles down. So, I mean, there's even times where I'm like, ooh, I don't know the answer to that. So I wait, I ask, and then I respond. And then when we have a good response, because if we're not confident and we give a response right then, it might not be the right answer. It might not be the best answer. It might not pique someone's interest. It might not help them. And we want to make sure that we're helping everybody to the best of our capabilities. And our team is definitely the way to do that. So you will get the confidence. I promise it will come. And I have no doubt that you will, Chandra, because I mean, yeah, Jen is amazing. I mean, Jen even has the same story as me. She sold It Works because I sold It Works. And we both bombed. But
Here we are.
now, look at us now. So, but yes, so the confidence will come, and I have no doubt that our teams are just going to keep soaring. I mean, look at you guys. Your team last month really had to like push towards the end for that promotion, and it was exciting. And then this month, I mean, you guys are already a green director team. Woohoo! So, and yeah,
Happy about that.
yeah, I bet. And you guys have even more sales this month. And Chandra, I have no doubt that you're going to be our next director underneath Jen, and we're just going to keep popping directors up. How's that sound?
Right.
Sounds good.
Yes. So I'm trying to think, did I touch everything I wanted to tonight? So what I do is, I know, Chandra, you haven't had a problem with this, with sending screenshots and touching base with your director and doing all that. So I'm mostly going to say this for the gals who are probably going to watch this recording because they couldn't be on tonight. I think what I'm going to do from here on out is make it a requirement to send screenshots to your director. If you're not sending screenshots at least twice a week to your director, we are probably going to say, okay, you don't want this, because we want to help you guys push and get your director titles and help you build a team. And so the few requirements that I'm going to start doing is screenshots, booking your calendar by the 31st for November, and then doing the 15 two-way contacts. So I feel like I'll do like a little, I think Kristen did Jen, right? She did like a little picture that said homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, and posted it. So I'm going to post that. I'll probably post this recording first and then that tomorrow, because I have to download the recording onto YouTube and then post it. So, but do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Anything?
You have any questions, Chandra?
I don't right at the moment. I think I talked to you enough about it that you answer them all. So.
Okay. Well.
We're talking. So.
What?
What was that?
Chandra and I pretty much talk daily.
Well, that's good. That's great. And I mean, that's how we learn, and that's how, I mean,
That's how we promote.
Really good relationships too. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love my Pampered Chef family. I mean, I'm grateful that you're not just my family and that you get to be my Pampered Chef family too, but it's just fun, especially at conference and stuff, when you have that Pampered Chef like group, and I fully expect both of y'all to be there next year. You're both going. It's just so much fun. So I love us.
I love us too.
Me too.
Okay, well, you guys have a good night, and I'll post all this in the group page for everybody else.
Sounds good. Have a good night, girls.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.